Today we are receiving Paula Fouce. She's a producer, director, and co-director of numerous documentaries on critical subjects. She is the president of Paradise Filmworks International, which has produced The Dark Hobby. How are you, Paula?
Very well, thank you. How are you?
I'm fantastic, and thanks for joining us today. Can you tell us, in a few words, a little bit more about Paradise Filmworks International and The Dark Hobby?
Absolutely. We are a documentary production company. We do a lot of subjects all over the world, very interesting topics. And the latest film, The Dark Hobby, is about reef wildlife species and how they've been impacted by the aquarium trade and how the reefs have been impacted and in turn the ocean.
And what are your needs and how can we help you?
We're trying to let the public know what's happening below the water, below the ocean, what's gone unseen for so long, for so many years. That species are being removed and sold for a hobby, but it's really detrimental.
Why is it so important to preserve ocean biodiversity?
It's very important to preserve the biodiversity of the reefs because there are hierarchies living there and they all play a part together. So if you go and remove species to sell for a hobby, you are actually taking away fish who eat the algae that's growing on the coral, and they keep a perfect balance on the reef so that the reef and the ocean create a great deal of the oxygen for our planet.
I'm sure that many people in our audience have seen the movie. And for those who didn't, we want to know a little bit more about the issues that you raise in The Dark Hobby and what sort of impact it has on the fish population in Hawaii.
The film, The Dark Hobby, follows a group of conservationists, Native Hawaiians, and scientists who will stop at nothing to try to protect these reef fish. And by their removal, there's as many as 26 million of them in the aquarium pipeline at any given time. And they're shipped out. So they go through a very torturous journey and a torturous preparation to be shipped to the mainland for sale. And this is also taking place all over the world in many countries, not only in Hawaii.
So why did you pick Hawaii in this case?
Because I went snorkeling there about 20 years after I'd been there previously. And in 3 or 4 different sites, there were hardly no fish remaining. They had been taken, collected, and sold, which is a huge business worth billions, but it is damaging the reefs and damaging the fish species. Several of them are already extinct.
What can we do on our side to avoid this problem?
We can do several things. One thing would be not to have aquariums and don't buy these fish that are for sale. Because what happens when you keep them in an aquarium, they invariably die within a year of capture, 90% of them do, and then that creates a need for replacement. So the collectors are going out and again removing entire species from the reefs. And on the reefs in the hierarchy, when you remove certain fish species, then you're impacting the species above and below them. So if we don't buy these fish, what we can do instead, we can create more marine preserves all over the world. And people that want to look at these gorgeous fish, which we all do, because looking at an aquarium was always beautiful, right? And it still is. But you can look at reef cams. You can look at these video screens and see the live action of the fish who remain on the reef. So we're asking to please leave the reef fish at home on the reef. Don't take them and keep them in a box of water in your living room.
And can you give us the most important statistics that for you are in relation to ocean biodiversity and to the problem that you're raising in The Dark Hobby?
The statistics are really something that's quite alarming. We know that the ocean is under great duress already for so many reasons, whether it's pollution, whether it's plastic, whether it is, a leak at Fukushima. There's so many things happening to the ocean. And this is yet another thing that most people don't think about. Most of us don't realize, where did these fish come from? And I myself, like most people, would love to go look at aquariums. In the old days, it was just gorgeous looking, and I didn't realize myself. But when you understand about the interplay of all of the fish living on the reef, and you understand that now science and technology has proven that these reef wildlife, they are very intelligent. They recognize human faces. They actually sing. In Australia, they have recorded their sounds. They make many different sounds. They communicate, they make plans. One kind of fish, even the cleaner wrasse, has passed a self-recognition test where they look at a mirror and they can tell that that's them. So we're finding out more and more nowadays about these creatures who haven't really been given much respect. And now, like, dogs, cats, and many various animals, we're finding out that their intelligence is very great.
Thank you very much, Paula. We'll finish with a 2-second message you would like to leave to our audience today.
Yes, please go to thedarkhobby.com and sign our pledge, not to buy reef wildlife, but to leave reef wildlife at home on the reef. And please tell your friends and family to share about the Dark Hobby film and about this important message. It's streaming and it will be all over the world soon on Vimeo, Vudu, Google Play, iTunes, Apple TV, and YouTube.
That's fantastic. And there we go. That was Ocean Innovator series celebrating 10 years to achieve the 2030 United Nations Sustainable Development Goals. Don't forget to press the bell button to subscribe, and we'll see you next time.